Let's get it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is my show for real, no doubt, because the podcast got me feeling thugged. All right, listen, I'm on some R. Kelly shit this whole week.
Yeah.
Hate me, you won't cancel if you need to. That man making
Well,
goddamn
there,
bangers.
there goes our plan to get our subscribers up. That just happened.
Listen, there's enough fans. What he did was atrocious. His music has single-handedly, and I don't give a damn if your wife's around or not, has single-handedly got us both late in college.
Oh, she heard it, I'm sure. She's
Yeah.
original, but
So, I said in college. I didn't say in college.
I mean, I cannot and will not.
Okay, that's good enough. That's good.
That's how I'm going to go with that.
That's good enough with me, you politician. That's good enough for me. Listen, I am the Pied Piper of podcasting, and I'm here today to let you guys know that we've been sold a bag of fool's gold. But before we get into all that, I want to introduce the co-host of co-hosts, my main man on my right-hand side, but he on the left side, but he on the left coast, even though he on the right-hand side, but he from the Midwest. James, Big Game, Madison, Walter, the third. I got to pop this Invisalign out. All right, there we go. The list was in there, so we're good now.
Hey, listen, anytime you give me a good introduction like that, and then you are wearing, and then you sing, you know, the songs that I choose not to sing in public or put on YouTube, and then you wear the jersey that you're wearing of the guy that is the epitome of what is really good with our city, man. You know, this is the thing, man.
I do all this to draw you in, to make you feel comfortable before I hit you over the head with everything I got to say today. Well, but all this, Chicago in the background, Marquette, hey, all this is to make you feel comfortable before
if it would have been Common in the background, you would have had me. You know, Pied Piper in the background. I don't know how comfortable I feel, you know. So, I mean, that's where we at right now. But listen, man, you called this meeting, America. Chris Turner, once again, he's going to tell us what's good, man. He's got some thoughts on his mind that he wants to speak about right now.
I got some shit I need to say. All right, listen. First and foremost, this show has never and will never tear down black people. That's not what we're doing. That's not the direction this is going. This is two athletes speak. This is two ex-college football players talking about college football and everything that goes on in it. This has nothing to do with race. This has nothing to do with us tearing down a black man. This is us talking about a coach at a Pac-10 school who lied his ass off. All right, listen. First and foremost, when did spring games become important? Like when did the attendance of a spring game become the thing to really boast and brag about? Because Colorado had 40, 50,000 there for their spring game, which is probably more than they had the entire season. But that's still not even top 10 for the amount of attendance that was at spring games, because USC had like 55,000. South Carolina had, and South Carolina sucks, but South Carolina had like 52,000. But everybody was at the Colorado spring game to see Coach Prime, Shedeur Sanders, and everybody that's involved with this Buffalo's dynasty, I guess is what they're trying to, the bullshit they're trying to spin on us. Man, listen. Being a football player, being a Southern football player, being a man from the same place regionally as Deion Sanders, that was a shit show. It was a circus, and the amount of talent that was on that field would not win a high school football game in Texas. They might not get out of Colorado. You saw a 1-11 team with a spotlight on them because of their head coach, which more power to them, like bring the attention and all that nonsense to them. But you saw a 1-11 team do a spring game like a 1-11 team should do. Like, I'm the hype. I bought into it, I guess. I guess it's my own fault. I bought into the hype because I was expecting to see all these fireworks, and you actually probably got fireworks during the game, but all these fireworks and hey, we coming, we here. I'm bringing my Louis Vuitton luggage, and I'm bringing him with me. I'm bringing him. That shit looked terrible from a athletic standpoint. That shit looked like a 2A high school football game. That's where I'm starting. So it's on you, but that's where I'm starting.
Okay. Well, allow me to pop my Deion Sanders juice.
I'm drinking water, America. I got to start back lifting and everything, so I'm on water.
My wife was brave enough to leave me at home with our infant child. This is my reward. I give her more praise than me. The fact that she had the confidence in me that child was going to be in one piece when she came back, incredible. let's just start there with that. So, America, I'm going to give the disclaimer that I did not watch a snap of this spring game for two reasons. One, I don't really watch spring games anymore because I'm 40 years old.
And they're pointless.
Two, what's the point of me watching college football until Northwestern can actually prove relevancy? That's basically where we're at right now. That second part was a joke. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for a while for us. But I counter, and I knew I was going to counter this because of the things that I saw my great co-host post and let his feelings be known throughout that weekend about that game. See, Chris Turner, what you fail to have experienced in your life is that infinite amount of losing ever.
True. Very true.
I don't think at any point in your entire career, and you played in bowl games every year, whether you were in the ACC for the year you were there, played a big-time bowl game your freshman year, ACC, and those other years at Alabama, you guys were in bowl games every year.
Correct. So
you don't understand what happened to that program. So allow me, as somebody who went 4-18 in his last two seasons as a college football player with consecutive 9-game losing streaks within each season. Allow me to explain to you what Deion Sanders has been trying to accomplish up to this point and what he accomplished. People give a shit about Colorado football again. You want to know the last time people gave a shit about Colorado football?
Rocket Ismail.
Your senior year of high school.
Yeah. Yeah.
20 years ago, Chris. As 20 years ago. If I'm not mistaken, isn't your 20-year high school reunion either happening this year or happened last year?
Happened last year, class of 02.
That's how long ago Colorado football was even a blip. A blip.
Yeah.
On an ESPN radar, because that's when they had Big Chris Brown and they won the Big 12 and went to the I don't know if they went to the Fiesta or the Cotton that year, but that was Gary Barnett, Northwestern's finest, who led that. So talking about the attendance, I have to already stat correct you because I looked at attendances, and one of the schools you named was USC. Hold on.
Please.
USC has the best college football player in the country. This is the first young man that had, since Archie Griffin, that can truly win this thing 2 years in a row. Like, this is the closest we're going to come to it.
I agree.
I mean, we thought Tim Tebow was going to do it, and the SEC proved, nah, you're going to have to earn it. You're going to have to earn it every year you win it in this league. And to his credit, he won 2 titles.
Correct.
I mean, he was the last closest guy that we saw that we felt like could do it because he won it young. So here you have that. Their attendance was just under 34,000. So You got to get your numbers right.
Okay.
Say that. They're going to be by default, and you'd have to correct me if I'm wrong about Addison, if he's still coming back or if he's there. That's how out of the loop I am. I don't know if he declared. So you got Addison and him coming back next year. That combination is going to be ridiculous. They're going to be a top 5 team from the start. 33 people.
Pretty good in the transfer portal. So like they had a bunch of guys transfer to them. So
yeah. So
right.
USC going to be real. And Deion Sanders was able to get more people to come to a spring game outside of the city limits of Denver, Colorado, when I know the weather was shit, because my best friend lives there and he was telling me the weather was shit that weekend.
It was snowing.
So basically what he has done is he has made Colorado Buffalo football in the state of Colorado once again an attraction. They used to get down. Like, you talk about this is a program, and not to be too much of a historian, but the late 80s and early 90s,
mm-hmm.
they were beating dudes up all over the country. And they used to pack that place. So Deion Sanders knows one thing. If I don't put butts in the seats, none of this is going to matter anyway. So that's what he accomplished with I'm shitting all over your attendance thing. Why? It is a big deal because I think when they had that game last year, they might have had 5,000 people there.
Yeah, it was real small.
It was really bad. And rightfully so. Trust me, I know. I think I had 500 people at both my junior and senior spring games in my Division II school. Who really wants to come watch a team that sucks? Just saying.
And mind you, I'm not saying any of this is shit on the Truman State University.
No, I will gladly do it on my own. Listen. Listen, we were not very good for a couple years. And those are scars I had to take with me. Them guys that you met at my wedding and my best friends who are texting right now, they went and played another year and went 6-5 and had a good year and beat some ranked teams. I was the only 5-year position player senior on that team. We went 2-9. So, there's a lot to that. Was it me? Maybe it was. Were they too young to understand exactly what this was about?
More than likely.
Most likely. And then at the end of the day, that's why it was so fun to win those championships with you and Bays and CD5, the MVP. And I could name everybody off those teams that we played with and won and contributed. All the way from the Gaddafi Tunsil's to the Tub Johnsons, to the Muhammad Shahshadines, to the Javon Fitz-Jacksons, Michael Eby's. Okay, I'm going to stop there. Kelly Rouse. Okay, I'm done. I'm going to shout out the secondary. CJ Ellis, RIP.
Rest in peace.
But, I'm speaking from that, Chris. That's why it does matter. So what he has already shown, the eggshell-colored president and board, this is what you paid for. At the end of the day, it's going to be a spectacle. People will come to watch me coach this team.
I will give you. Now, people will come to watch him coach this team. It's prime. It is what it is.
Yeah. My
next point, because I'm not going to lie, you shit on that one, and I'll give you full credit for that one. People will come because it's prime.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day,
who's going? Remember? Didn't you tell me who's going? I'm just bullshit. I'm bullshit, America.
I ain't gonna lie. I'm trying to get USC tickets though. Like when they play USC.
Are they playing USC there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, America, I take back my bullshit. I think we taking a flight to Denver. I think I'm about to show up for that.
Or at least be like in the vicinity. So anyway.
Yeah.
So you got a 1-11 team. You put on the spectacle. Okay, you changed my mind. Okay, boom. I understand the butts being in seats. But just like any other college football program, you have to win. And going through their schedule, it looks like you're facing another 1-11 year, and that one, just like Spades, is a possible. Like there's not a guaranteed win on this schedule with the talent he had. Listen, I love Shedeur Sanders. I love the kids. I love that he's a black quarterback first and foremost. I'm just going to be 100% honest about that. I love black quarterbacks. It is what it is. I love that Travis gets to play both sides of the ball, and he seems to be doing that well. But that's two people. I'm going to go into the transfer portal here in a second, but that's only two guys. You don't have a dog at running back. You got your dog at receiver is also your best cornerback. You have to go. Here's your schedule. You got TCU, who's fresh off an ass whooping. So you're the first team that they see after they got prison loved on national TV.
Prison loved.
I can't say that. You know where I was going with that. So, you got TCU in TCU.
Is that the opener?
That's the opener.
Good.
All right. Then you got Nebraska. Nebraska's not a great team, but they compete.
They beat Nebraska. Next one.
Not when Nebraska got the coldest winter ever, whatever that boy, the coldest winter Crawford, whatever that boy name is. All right. So you got Colorado State, which is a recruiting game because that's the state of Colorado.
So they're going to be 2-1 at worst at this point. So your argument's already null and void. They've already.
That's a lot of hope you're giving. I got to figure out what that score was last year. Anyway, so Colorado State. Then you got Oregon at Eugene. Then you got USC at Boulder. Then you got Arizona State. Not a gimme. Stanford. Not a gimme.
Oh, Stanford's a gimme. I live here. New coaching staff. They're not recruiting guys the way they used to. Ain't no Christian McCaffrey's out here.
There will be several wagers placed on Colorado football, just to put this out there. I'm
just telling you, I ain't watched Nana nothing last year, and I can tell you right now. Go to the beginning. I'll tell you what I think's going to go. Start at the beginning.
Okay, TCU.
They're gonna cover the spread.
I need a 1-0 or 0-1. Don't give me the Vegas line.
Is old boy still there, Max Duggan?
Nah, Duggan's gone.
Colorado upset. 1-0. Shock the world. Is their quarterback they got better than Shedeur Sanders?
He's a similar type. It's a black kid by 6'5". He's a similar type.
I'm taking Shedeur. 1-0. Keep going.
Nebraska.
2-0. Nebraska booty. New coaching staff. They got all new shit going on there too. 2-0.
Fine. I'm not gonna argue with you. I'm not going there with you right now.
Colorado 3-0. Keep going.
Oregon
3-1.
USC
3-2.
Arizona State
4-2.
You are
new coaching staff.
Stanford
5-2.
I swear to God, at the end of this, if you have these bastards bowl eligible, like this show will come to a screeching fucking halt.
Keep going.
UCLA.
Ooh, that'll be. Where's it at? Is it in the Rose Bowl or is it in Colorado?
It's in Pasadena.
Ooh, that's Chip Kelly versus Dion. That'll be good. You know what? I think I gotta just right now. I can revisit this after I see what's we talk about other stuff. I'm gonna say L for now, just to keep this kind of interesting. So I'm gonna go L. 3-3.
Oregon State.
Sorry, Dewan. 4-3.
And then Arizona.
Where I'm at 4-3.
You're like 4-3. You
gotta be missing. Arizona booty.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 10 games.
Okay.
So in 10 games, you got them what?
I mean, listen, I think they'll be bowl eligible by the 10th game.
You are full of shit.
Am I?
Yes.
How?
All right. So let's get into the X's and O's of it. You have a good quarterback. We think is a good quarterback. Games are won and lost on line play. Now, I watched the game. I listened to all the code words they said when your team is small or you're not expecting much. They say shit like, "Oh, we're going to use every inch of the field to make sure we can get the ball out in the perimeter." That's code word for my O-line and D-line are fucking ass. So we got to spread the ball out, which is a good thought. Hey, let me get the ball out in space to Travis Hunter and make somebody miss. But that's one Travis Hunter versus maybe three other ones, or who are very close.
Okay.
Code word. Hold on. Code words like, "Hey, listen, they're going to have a dominant pass game," which is also code for you don't have a goddamn running back.
Okay. Let me remind you of why Colorado can be bowl eligible. First and foremost, right away, just in general, if you got enough talent, and
they don't.
Hold on. If you got enough talent, you got enough coaching, you can get 6 games done. Because all it's going to take is 6 to win them. That's all he's trying to do. He's just trying to get them in a bowl. He's not trying to win the Pac-12 right now. But Chris, what is the one thing that Colorado has? And that. Well, yeah, that too. There's only one other school. Hilarious, bro. There's only one other school, and I'm going to double check before I do that. In the entire conference that has what they have. It's that altitude, bro. And that will make a difference. You don't think Deion Sanders ain't going to have them boys in crazy, crazy shape?
I agree that he will be.
And we know what time it is with that, man. Like,
that shit's tough. It's tough to play in Colorado. It's tough.
They're a mile high, bro.
And like we were indoors and it was still tough.
Yeah. Like, remember how, remember when you first got there? Because I always tell this story about our 2009 season. I'm trying to figure out if I can get the altitude in Utah. Yeah, I'm gonna pull this up. There we go, bro. That's what I need. Do you remember our first season there in 2009 with your wind and how it just was different? Because you're one of them guys. I just, especially when I met you, I bet you, especially back in the day, dude, you one of them guys who just was never out of shape. It just never mattered. Like, you always had wind. Right. You've always been a bigger guy. Even when you was playing running back and linebacker and killing them, you was the bigger dude, and you always had the wind to go with that speed, right? Like, what's crazy about that year? And you'll laugh and go, I can't believe that. I wasn't in shape till week 9.
I remember you told me that. I remember you said that.
Nobody ran more than me on the entire team. For that, I ran more mileage out of anybody in that entire team. And it took me to week 9 to get used to that altitude.
It's rough. It's very rough.
Because I got there a week before camp.
Yep.
So if you're telling me that from now until their open camp starts, end of July, early August, whenever they're going to open camp, whatever the NCAA allows you to do now.
First week of August now.
So they got, give them a week off. And now they are just training in that altitude. Where Olympic athletes train, big or small or whatever. And we'll get to this third part that I know you want to get to, is the transfer portal. It's the real big thing. And I can't wait.
Yeah.
So you're telling me, based on that, those home games don't already give them an advantage by one of the most strategical, forget talented. We know he's top 5 most talented football player to ever live.
By far. And it's very not close. But
his mental capacity of the game from even both sides of the ball as the true last guy to play both sides of the ball in the league, and working with Norv Turner, and he was catching passes under Norv Turner, bro. Like Norv is still coordinating and coaching in the league today.
And doing it.
So
I'm not agreeing with nothing you're saying. Yes, they're going to be in tremendous shape because you have to be. You're training to play football and you're training for the altitude. You have to.
That's why nobody wanted to play us, Chris. 9 and 10 when we won them titles. Why were we winning? Why were we winning by 2 scores both them games? We're playing very good teams. By the third quarter, start getting a little dizzy.
But to compare us to this situation, we arguably had the best player at every position. That won't be the case for Colorado. Like, you're going to have probably a better quarterback in most of the games because Shedeur, like I said, I'm not taking anything from Shedeur. He's probably going to be the better quarterback, and Travis Hunter's probably going to be the better athlete than who he's going against.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it stops. Like, that's legitimately where it stops. So, yeah, I get that you're playing against the Colorado Buffaloes and you're playing against Mile High. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, all of that means absolutely shit if you're going into halftime 40-6. Like, you can coach ability. You can't coach talent. And I don't see talent. Like, I don't see now. It's not like with Army, Air Force, and all those guys where they got a scheme because they're not going to get the 6'7", 315-pound O lineman that Clemson's going to get. But they have a scheme for them that is, all right, listen, we're Army, we're going to run the triple option. We're Air Force, we're just going to air raid it, triple option, whatever they do. This is Colorado. Like, I watched this game. These guys are small with no, like, hand placement, no, like, I'm not to bring stars in the game, but you got a bunch of 2-star linemen who aren't even playing up to that level.
Well, who's to say they can't get the coaching to do it? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I just think that to say that they're just going to be bad based on a product you see, like CT, like, that's not a finished product. It's not a finished product. That's not the same team you saw here in April. It's not going to be the same team you see. You know Deion Sanders is not a fool. He's not a fool. There's no way this dude doesn't have a plan to be bowl eligible year one.
And he almost has to be. Like, you.
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. Listen, this is really, really, to me, I want to save this point, but I'm going to make it rhetorical.
Yeah.
I'm going to make it rhetorical because we're going to get to the third part of this. Because I just love this America. It's the first time we've been combative in a while. It's nice. It's nice. It feels good. Doesn't it feel good?
It's been a while.
This feels good. It feels good. Listen, here's the main reason why this is really throwing me about you. This is the same guy we were fighting for to be the Florida State head coach.
Very much so.
And now all of a sudden, you've seen these things. And I don't know, maybe it's because it took some shine off your team. I don't know. And people are excited about it. And now all of a sudden, you hating on them. You talking about, you know what? I'm not here to put down no black people, but you putting down the blackest of us all, you know what I'm saying, is the reason why the majority of us from our era got any swag to begin with. I honestly feel like your hair fell out for the same reason my hair fell out. At some point, we put some processed shit when we was coming up trying to do some shit, and now we bald-headed. Anybody that's let that, when they were trying to get their cornrows, just go natural with it, is straight. All of us, minus Kevin Durant, because I don't know what happened to Kevin Durant. That dude had waves coming into the league. And
that was bad genetics. My whole thing is, Deion, like, listen, we were one of the main ones, like, I wanted him at Florida State because I felt this, though, one, Florida State fucking owes him. Let's call a spade a spade. Like, Florida State, not many college programs owe one of their athletes. Nah, Florida State, you fucking owe Deion Sanders.
Yeah, I'll give you that. Kind of the same way Miami owes every alumni. We need to figure this out and start getting our Miami players to start coming back here. I feel you on that.
Exactly. So, like, Florida State, you owe Deion. And that was my biggest thing because I felt like, one, you owe him, and two, even though Florida State hasn't had, like, the greatest of years, and, like, even though last year was actually pretty good for them because they won a decent amount of games.
But Mike Norvell's a good coach. Like, I mean, he is.
Nothing from him. But I felt as though Deion should have went from Jackson State, honestly, straight from the high school he was coaching in Texas to a legitimate higher ranking Power 5 school. Like, I don't think he should have had to take the Jackson State, the Colorado job at all because he's that damn good of a coach where he should have just, all right, well, I'm here now. I'm not going boom, 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 boom. Like, I'm fucking Deion Sanders. That's what my argument was that. The Colorado, and I don't knock his coaching, but you can't coach size. You can't coach talent, and you don't. Year one, and we're just arguing year one. We're not even arguing year one. We're arguing the spring game and the first couple of games. I don't see the product segue from recruiting and from what's there and from the transfer portal on the field. I don't. I watched that entire spring game. I changed a little because I was watching, of course, I watched the Alabama game, but I watched that entire spring game and the shit was almost like professional wrestling because it was such pageantry and such just sideline nonsense and, hey, Cordell Stewart's here and RG3, what do you got to say about this? That I believe it was strategically done to not show all the gaps on this damn team. Because every time they got a chance to go into the stands and talk to a celebrity or go to the sideline and miss about 4 or 5 plays in a row, they did it.
Well, let me get this straight. So here's a guy that has played every level of professional football that there is.
Right.
Has been one of the premier players in this country at a level.
Correct.
And you're telling me that based off of seeing one thing, you're already just saying, well, this is some bullshit. You know who you sound like right now? You sound like mustache Vince McMahon coming back and just destroying Raw and then getting booted and realize, you know what? Maybe I should have just stayed retired. Really, I'm not as good as that. That's who you sound like right now. Like, I don't understand for the life of me how you see one spring game and you have already declared this a failure. The team was 1-11. It was 1-11. What was successful before he got there?
Not a damn thing. Not a damn thing.
So he's also still, so let's just, I'm segueing to it. You want to talk about this transfer portal. You know, the one thing I notice about these players that are leaving and what they saying and seeing, and the one thing I know about me and the way I was, first and foremost, that's the guy I want to play for.
Oh, yeah.
Let's just start there. I don't give a shit about how he do whatever. And you know what? I'm going to do you one better, CT. This generation is just different. I've met my idols. I have. I've had the privilege to meet Michael Jordan twice. Didn't disappoint me. He actually was exactly what I thought he was going to be. He was cool to me. Both times I met him. Shook his hand the first time. Bought me a drink the second time. A Bud Light in Chicago. Because that's all I can afford at the end of the day. Anyway, what a dope guy in my mind. So I'm seeing all these things, and I've read a couple stories, and you know what? I believe them to be true. I believe that, you know what? Maybe they weren't. If they were, because the majority of these guys are leaving, Chris, you tell me, because you're more on top of this with the stories and what's been published. You tell me if I'm wrong, that pretty much everybody that's in the transfer portal was there the year before, or was a Colorado recruit.
All but about 4 of them.
So 4 of them are like, you know what? It's too cold up here.
Pretty much, because the 4 that are leaving are from Florida.
They're like, it's too cold up here, Brian. We good.
Yep.
Everybody else, because what was it? Was it 19 players that went to the portal? Is that number right?
18.
18, 19?
Yeah.
So 12 out of them 19. I'm sorry, 15 out of them 19. That's terrible math. Oh, Lord. Calm down, Deion Juice. Calm down. 15 players were there before he got there. And he said, if you don't make the cut, you go. Now, this is what I will never do to a player. No matter what. If you say that you weren't being treated right, you weren't given the opportunities, I'm going to give you that benefit of doubt. I will, because I've seen it happen. You know what? I saw it happen to me. But you know what else I did?
Worked your ass off.
I proved them wrong. Hey, this is what we feel about you. Oh, you feel that about me? That junior year, when I went from just a tall guy that's athletic and won a national title in one game versus number 2 team in the country, 0-9, 6 for 140 off the bench after being benched for 2 games by dumbass coaches that have apologized. 6 for 140 and 3/4 on an NFL DB that ended up getting into training camp that day. And all of a sudden I was an NFL prospect in one game.
That's how that go.
Evansville, Indiana, played 2 games out of 6. 2 games out of 6. 6 catches, 47 yards. You know what, James? Yeah, we'll give you your release because you ain't shit. Thank you. That's all I wanted. Bloomington camp. You know what? You're the 5th best wide receiver on this roster. F this. I'm gone. I'm going to go to Auburn. You know what? No, this is what you wanted. This is what you wanted. You wanted to play in Illinois. You wanted your friends and your daddy to be able to see you play. Week 2, come off the bench, score a touchdown on the second play I played in the game. 3rd week, come off the bench, make a crazy catch. 4th week, game-winning touchdown catch. A Star is Born. After somebody told me I wasn't even good enough to even be on the 25-man roster. So that's what I'm going to take and grade. So this is what I'm going to tell you about this transfer portal where I saw you go crazy, as you should, because I think a lot of it is your Florida pride. You're just upset that this is my guy, and I don't like what I'm seeing, and he represents North Florida. That's really, let's get to the, like, if we're going to really get to this, that's exactly what it is.
If we're going to psychoanalyze this, then yes, that's kind of what it comes down to, because Florida, listen.
And he's North Florida, and he claims North Florida. Like, he doesn't claim he is Fort Myers. He says that's North. It's not even Central. He says North Florida.
Technically, they're Central, but like,
yeah, so they are. I know the map, but he says I'm from North Florida, baby.
There are a couple guys from that state that are above reproach, and there's with a state that's full of athletes, full of guys who ran 4.2s and 4.3s and all, in a state full of people like that, he's the guy you don't talk shit about. Like, he's the guy. He's the guy that you don't give a hard time. He's the guy who doesn't pay to get into the bar. He's the guy who doesn't pay to do anything. Like, he's the guy that if he comes to your high school football game, you clear out the entire section and you let him decide who sits over there with him. Like, he's the guy. And that's the thing. In the state of Florida, there's only a handful of these guys, and he's the guy that they look to. So, yes, it bothers me that it comes down to, I'm still bothered by score this. It bothers me that
I love. Hey, I'm all for it, bro. Come on, Zoe.
There's scrimmage and everything, and she just passed it across the field. All right, so even though I told her to be more AI like, fuck passing this ball and shit. Anyway, it bothers me that one of my legends has to prove himself at Colorado, which they were 1-11 last year, and for the foreseeable future until he can convince this pipeline out of Florida that, hey guys, listen, I want you to bypass your Clemsons, your Miamis, your Auburns, your Alabamas, your LSUs. I want you to bypass all of that. I want you to bypass Louisville, because Louisville was the spot that the secondary Florida guys went to. Shout out to BJ and everybody, and Teddy Two Gloves, Bridgewater, and all these guys. But your mid-level Florida guys who didn't get the 5-star notches, who didn't get the 4-star notches, you went to Louisville and you balled out. Lamar, like that's just what it is. Like all your lower level guys, because it was Florida against the world, so your lower level guys went to Louisville. So it's hard for me to see that him convincing these guys, like, listen, I want you to bypass all of this and come to Colorado with me. It's not that cold up here. We can do this. You can be the stone that helps build this program. And I feel like, and it's just a feeling, it's not going to build the way he needs it to build for him to get that Florida State, that Miami, that Florida job, that West Florida or Central Florida, whatever the case may be. I would have been perfectly fine if he would have ended up at UCF, because I know for a fact he would have been able to pull the entire state and piss off the big three in Florida.
He already did it at Jackson State. He don't want to do that anymore. So let me throw a couple more darts into it. I feel where you're coming from. And I think this is the one thing we're missing about everything because of when he got the job and how this whole thing works. And you and I are very, very acutely aware of this. And it's the one thing you forget. This is what makes Alabama great. And every other school that has been competitive. You know what they don't lose? They don't lose the best players in their state. That's where he has to start. And he hasn't really had a chance to do that.
No.
What he can do is if he can turn them into a 500 program from ashes and transfers and the recruits that he did get this year where he had time, now he can start recruiting. Could you imagine if Christian McCaffrey didn't leave Colorado?
That's different. That's a different story.
Do you know how many sons of NFL players are like in Denver right now?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That's the other point I bring it to you. The appeal of playing college football in an NFL town, that shit matters. It does. You know why it was so dope to play in Miami? On top of the fact that, first and foremost, it's Miami, and they have a crop duster that, crushes up Molly and all sorts of hallucinogens and spreads it in the air, because that was my 2 days in Miami. I swear to God, a crop duster. I was like, man, I'm so euphoric right now. I feel like I'm breathing in drugs. I've never seen anything like it. And I will never go back to Miami. That's not happening. Them 2 days was enough. 48 hours. God bless Miami. I'll see you in Fort Lauderdale. I can hang out in Fort Lauderdale. I can't go to Miami no more. I got to go to that beach over there in Fort Lauderdale. Anyway, point I'm making is, Chris, you're over here sounding like a guy. You almost sound like a very swole, attractive, chocolate pudding version of Skip Bayless right now. Like, you think this is done. Like, that's how you sound. And the fact that he's doing it this way, at the end of the day, does he want to be cold with them messed up toes and feet of his? Hell no, he doesn't. But he would rather prove himself to make this team eligible to win the Pac-12 championship in the next 2 to 3 years to get to where he wants to get and show the world I knew exactly what I was doing when I did it. Look what I've done. It's another program I've taken from shit to sugar. That's his goal. And then when the time comes, he'll be able to choose where he wants to go. Or maybe we've got some old heads. It's not a couple. Or maybe the one true old head might go, let me just see what he does up here. And if we happen to see him somehow the next 3 to 4 years, and I got to deal with this motherfucker, because he's got to deal with them now. What are we getting in 6 teams now? Was that the new thing?
6, yeah.
You're gonna have to deal with him. So Nick Saban might have to see him at some point.
And the funny thing about that, you saying that Saban's contract ends the same time that Deion's contract ends.
If you don't think Nick apologized for the shit that he said.
Oh, yeah.
Because they still doing Aflac commercials together.
Yeah.
Thought that shit
because
was the end after that.
I believe Dion is the one person Nick would like. You know what? My bad. Like, and there's only probably like 2 coaches alive that he do it to, and Dion's definitely one of them.
So who's to say Deion Sanders isn't the head coach of Alabama after 5 years of building this program, and he actually gets a full cycle of a recruiting class or 2 that get to be juniors and seniors.
Yeah.
And after he goes, maybe it's below 500 like you're predicted. Maybe it's bad. I don't think it's going to be as bad as you think it's going to be, because the Pac-12 ain't as good as what you think it is. First and foremost, Nebraska's booty. I can tell you that right now. Tommy Frazier's not coming out that locker room.
Yeah,
most importantly, and I mean this unequivocally with my entire heart, fuck Nebraska. That hatred goes way back. I love the state. I love the people. Fuck that team. I'm just being 100, man. Like
I think the only Nebraska game I saw, I think it was like the Northwestern game at that.
See, you know what? We need to go to Give Me a Minute, because you're going to make me throw this beer can. This is
I wasn't even trying to be a dick. Like,
they got us this year. But Chris, here's the prime example. We've been beating their ass for the last 6, 7, since we've been beating their ass.
Listen, like I said,
first and foremost, if I need to come through this phone and tell Zoe to stop passing and take a shot on goal, I'll do that for her.
Yeah, just popped one in. She just popped one in.
All right. Oh, that was a good clap. That's what I'm talking about. Clap. Okay, my bad.
But nah, and that's the only game I saw was the Northwestern game, and it was a competitive game. And dude, why am I defending anyway?
Yeah, that's the point I'm making. And you talking about Nebraska going to blow out Colorado and a competitive with as bad as Northwestern has been since we blew we blew our chance to go to the Rose Bowl 3 years ago. We have not been good the last 3 years, and they were competitive with Northwestern.
But y'all have been sneaking in a first round here like these last couple of years. Like,
that's because Pat Fitzgerald can coach. He just can't get anybody to pass. Okay, watch what happens when they only got to take the ACT to go to Northwestern.
Anyway, I feel like we're at a point. Let's get to Give Me a Minute.
I'm just saying, man. Like, I appreciate where you're at, and I think you should stay on your stance. But I am also smart enough to go, you know what? This is why I was your favorite teammate. I was quietly a little bit more cerebral than you thought. All those times I was asked you to go out with me and I was offering you natty ices.
Look at Natty Lights. Jesus Christ.
Look where we are now. You're my best friend. You believe in me.
I do.
Look what I did. All that crazy shit and get the fuck out my face when we were playing together. And I have made you a celebrity in the town that you live in.
I appreciate it.
You're welcome. I did that. Also, your ability to throw a quarterback over the wall did that too. Don't get me wrong. I'm not taking too much away from you.
You Give Me a Minute.
Yeah, I mean, by all means, I'm going to definitely let you go first, because I feel like I had you feeling a certain way, and now you're feeling a little bit different about everything you just said.
I'm still not sold.
A little bit different. Hey, I didn't say completely. I said, I got you like, oh, I got to really think about everything I said. That's all I wanted to do.
Different. I'm looking at them a little bit different. I'm
a little bit different. Don't let them beat TCU week 1. I'm sending that gif of Bobby Boucher's girlfriend when Lynn Swan was looking at her and predicted the Mud Dogs was going to win 27-24. Yes, that ain't no guess. That's the way it's going to be. Hey, speaking of it, before I let you go, give me a minute. Have you seen that meme with Lamar Jackson on Bobby Boucher's body that says, "Mom said I deserve $250 million"? Oh my God, Lamar Jackson doesn't deserve that. It was so funny, but it's so wrong. I want to shout out Lamar Jackson, because I think Lamar Jackson deserves at least as much as Deshaun Watson. I just do. Like, that's not even to give me a minute. It's just a fact, man.
That's just real.
All right, let me let you go. I'm done.
All right, America, as I take my sip of this high quality H2O. I touched on it. Like, there's a couple guys in Florida is a football state. Period. We've had a bunch of NBA guys. Amari Stoudemire, Jason Wood. Like, we've had
Tracy McGrady.
Vince. Like, we've had some all-time greats.
Hall of Famers.
Is a football state. We don't worship it like Texas because we got too many other drugs that, like, as quiet as kept, baseball is creeping up there because you can play baseball all year long too. To be psychoanalyzed and just realize that, yeah, Deion is one of those guys that's from Florida that's just like above reproach. And it's everybody's dream from that 1981 to about 1991, who was born during that time, to see Deion Primetime Sanders, Neon Deion, coach at Florida State University. Here, that's the way it should have been. The coach now at Florida State, he's a good coach. I take nothing from him. But he should have never been there. You had a chance to get Deion. You would have got Deion probably for less. Because Deion said several times, like, I don't really need the money. Like, I'm doing this because I love doing it. Now, the money helps because I'm Deion, but it's Deion. So, yeah, that's what bothers me, is the fact that I don't get a chance to see at right now anyway. Handball shit. All right, I don't get a chance to see Deion in that garnet and gold one more time. He's in black and gold, or whatever they want to call their gold up there in Buffalo.
You got it right. It is black and gold. You hit it on the head. Well, clearly, you watched the game, so you know what the colors are.
Right. But yeah, you know how some people call it metallic this or old yellow and all this other crap. So just making sure the colors are accurate. So it comes down to me being bothered that one of my Mount Rushmores of the state can't do exactly what the fuck he wants to do. And I get it. That's how America is. But let people tell it like Florida really ain't a part of America as it is. So not to be able to see one of my GOATs not be able to put Florida State back, even if that's at the expense of Alabama, to not put Florida State back to the Bobby Bowden type recruiting and days of winning, that's the main thing that bothers me. America, that's been my minute.
That's pretty good. And I think you actually spawned a fun topic for us to do and grab some people on. Your own state Mount Rushmore.
Ooh.
I think you just dropped a gem. My eyes lit up inside. You didn't see them. They're not very wide anyway. But you were like, man, he's on my Mount Rushmore, like, of the state. And I'm like, ooh, that'd be a fun little 20-minute topic to everybody, get Bays on.
Oh, yeah.
And do a, especially Philly, what I'm saying, do a city, do a state.
Would you label it? Would you make it just one sport or just Mount Rushmore, whatever sport?
Of your city, yeah, anything, everything, and like compare them and be like, ooh, do a little research, because luckily I got the go, so it's like, okay, I think it should just be anything.
I'm with it.
I mean, we're more than just sports; we pop culture.
I could damn my top 4 right now, but go. That's
beautiful. Yeah, leave it alone. That would be fun. That'd be fun. But I love that, man. So let me go ahead and sit this last one here, get my thoughts together, because this one's going to be way off the tangent. America. Give me a minute. So first and foremost, I want to shout out all parents, because it's amazing that I have missed out on the joys that I've gotten to experience these last few months. Wish I'd have got to it sooner and been smart enough to find my wife sooner, but I'm grateful for it, first and foremost. And this is why it brings me to that, to do that tangent. I think the most underrated bad guy, maybe in the history of movies, Chris, and I'm not going to do this. I'm going to get this eye roll away from you. He is billed from Chicago, Illinois, because he's from Chicago, Illinois in real life. But do you realize how dope Clubber Lang is? in the history of movies.
Yeah.
Clubber Lang is the only guy that beat Rocky.
Yeah. Whoop his ass.
And I was watching Rocky 3 today because for some reason I felt like crying a little bit because you cry when he figures it out. You just these things come over you, right?
Ain't no tomorrow, Rock.
But there's a couple reasons why I want to give Mr. T, aka Clubber Lang, a shout out within this movie, the structure. Some of the best shit talk in movie history is in Rocky 3.
Hey, woman. Hey, woman.
From right there, he goaded him. And not only did he goad him, Chris, he beat the shit out of him. Does anybody even realize that shit? Like, he talked shit about being a better man than Rocky and then knocked him the fuck out in the next.
Beat his ass.
I mean, listen, the only thing, and I'm going to go ahead and say some blasphemous shit because I'm going to go, that's just how I'm feeling right now. These beers are feeling good. That to me is the equivalent of when Vader said, Luke, I'm your father. That's the same shit to me. Fuck Luke up. Luke was like, no! I don't believe it, no! Right? This dude said, hey, woman.
Hey, woman.
Hey, woman. Rocky took the fight and then got his ass kicked 15 minutes later.
After the trainer died.
How has nobody ever brought this up? Mr. T is, as Clubber Lang, is one of the coldest villains of all time. This dude won, made somebody look bad. I'm telling you. And then at least he knocked him down twice before he got knocked out by Rocky. He was putting the balls on Rocky. So I just thought I would take my give me a minute and keep it short and give a salute to James Clubber Lang. I found out his first name was James. I never knew it was James.
I thought it was Clubber.
I just thought it was Clubber. Swear to God. I was like, his first name is James?
I just thought it was Clubber. Like,
I just watched the movie. I didn't even fucking know that. Like, I just watched it 2 hours ago.
I might have to watch this shit tonight.
Bro, go watch him. Hey, it's not that I don't like him. I just pity the fool. Like, what?
Hey, I only got to work a half day tomorrow. I might have
Clubber Lang is, dude, he is essential to not only Black America, but shit talk America. Some of the shit he was saying, man, do you have any prediction for the fight?
Hey. Period. That's it.
Shout out Clubber Lang, man. You one of them guys that made me realize that at the end of the day, hey, if I can figure out how to talk some shit, man, I'm gonna be all right. You know what I mean? And Clubber Lang, the only difference between Clubber Lang and him, I ain't got a right hook like Clubber Lang. I can tell you that right now. Oh, and let me get there before I say this in my minute. Have you ever seen a boxer throw all hooks and uppercuts?
The entire match.
The entire match. All he did was throw hooks. He didn't throw a straight. Them shits was coming from the hip. Every single punch. Even the body shots was Clubber Lang is a bad motherfucker, man. That's all I got to say. I'm sorry for the F-bombs I've been dropping, Miss Sharon and Miss Sarah. But I'm telling you right now, Clubber Lang does not get his credit in movie history. America, go back and watch Clubber Lang. If you stop that movie right when Rocky throws that helmet at that statue, you'd be like, man, this is the greatest villain of all time. This dude threw a helmet at his own statue.
How frustrated he was.
Told his wife he was afraid of the man that said he was going to take her home and show her what a real man was.
You can't tell your wife that.
That's what he said. He was afraid I'm going to lose. Like, when he kept going, I'm afraid.
I'm afraid, okay?
That Clubber was going to come fuck shit out you. America, this has been my minute. I'm closing on that line. It got out of hand. I told you I was going to go out of hand. That's just why I felt, Chris.
I agree 1,000% with everything you just said.
I'm
gonna gonna throw one more thing on top of it.
Yeah, go for it.
Clubber Lang would have beat the shit out of Apollo too.
Oh yeah, he'd have killed it.
He would have fucked around. He would have killed Apollo before Drago was even a thought.
Yeah,
he would have fucked Apollo.
He'd have killed him.
Yeah, that shit would have been close.
Throwing all hooks.
You know what? That might be another show all by itself. Just talking about Rocky and like where Rocky really would have ranked as far as like boxers and the quote unquote villains that he had to go against.
I mean, the fight we all want to see is Clubber versus Drago. That's the fight we would want to see. That shit is, you know what? We actually got that. That's basically Fury Wilder, except you guys had, combined 16 pack when they fought, That's really that's the fight we wanted.
Oh, all right.
On
that note, special shout out to KO Fitness, 9 Round Fitness, the Knockout Smoothie, Rebel Coffee, Chic Workwear. Come here, woman.
You're good, babe. Stay here. Okay. Just wanted to make sure she was on the phone.
Yeah. KO Fitness, Knockout Smoothie, 9 Round Fitness, Chic Workwear. Come here, woman. Put these clothes on. Chic Workwear.
Mr. T loves
it. Mr. T approves. Screwball whiskey to Root Out whiskey. We still coming. To Complex, the streaming site, the podcast site. I'm working on some stuff. I actually got an email back from them. Yeah. It wasn't even like one of them, like, oh, thank you for sending us an email type deal. Like it's actually a person. So Complex.
Much love to Complex, man.
So we got to do some things, but like we coming. And anybody and everybody, make sure y'all come to the Millie. That way you can buy some merch from your boys and all that good stuff. Check in with us, tap in with us. Let us know what you want us to talk about. We're gonna have Bays here on the show. Probably here sooner than later. I still got to get my boy Lost, Firstborn on the show to get the music edition. It's been a minute since we had.
Look forward to. We're gonna have a. I'm gonna be working on it, but one of my favorite athletes from my school, Hall of Famer, and one of the best Division II women's basketball coaches in the country. I'm just going to put her on blast now. I've talked about that. I never talked about. I'm going to tell you on this recording. Amy Egan, who is now the head coach of Lindenwood women's basketball, Division II level, has been Division II Coach of the Year. I've wanted to have her on the show because I've wanted to talk about the NIL in the smaller division.
Perfect.
Definitely something I want to talk about, especially having Chris's perspective of being, a top 100 guy and seeing, obviously in everything we've seen. I just wanted to get her perspective, not only on the smaller divisions, but obviously the women and everything we've seen with Angel Reese. Mm-hmm. Amy's the best I could conjure up, and she'd have a good time talking to us as long as I keep my language in line, because I'm the one dropped F-bombs tonight. So we got a lot of stuff coming.
So make sure you check in with us. Make sure you stay tuned in. Make sure every time you see us, you share it, you like it, you comment, and all that good stuff. But this is the way we're going to end it tonight. Is the same way we end it all the time. And that's by me asking Walt the one question, the only question that matters. And what is that, Walt?
What's good, America?
What's good, America?